We're back, everybody. Took me by surprise. I guess it's because it's no judgment, Fat Tuesday, Mardi Gras. You can do whatever you want today. I said that, okay? An estimated 70% of Americans are unhappy in the workplace, and their discontent is actually costing the companies that they work for billions of dollars. If you feel like you're in the wrong job, well, you're probably watching this because you have some extra time on your hands. What can you do? The man, Patrick Sweeney, is here. He says it all comes back to the hiring process, and in particular, the job interview. So, if hiring managers get it right, everyone's going to be happy at work?
That would be great, Lauren. But it really does, Lauren. It starts with the hiring, and there's so many things that are kind of wrong with the hiring process because it depends. Right now, what most hiring managers do, right, is they look at the past. They look at someone's resume. They look at what someone has done. They're looking through a rearview mirror as opposed to looking at someone for their potential. What can they do?
And how do you, if you're a hiring manager, how do you know what that person can do? What questions do you ask? What do you look for?
Well, the potential comes from, in a large part, that's what Caliper is all about, because Caliper has been helping companies for over a half-century through our in-depth personality assessment, a personality test, if you will. What we do is we have coaches who work with hiring managers to understand the qualities that distinguish their top performers. What is it about their top performers that distinguishes them?
I'm totally putting you on the spot. Can you kind of give me a personality test now?
Well, ours is actually an in-depth personality assessment.
It's very in-depth, okay.
So it would take a while, but some of the things that we'd talk about would be your empathy, your ability to connect with others, how you handle rejection. Do you take it too personally? Do you take it on the chin? Or do you view it as a learning experience?
A lot of businesses, small, medium, big, whatever, say there's a disconnect between what they want or what they think they want from an employee and the pool of applicants that's available to them. They're not finding workers with the right skill set.
Right, right.
Would you agree with that?
Well, they are having a hard time. I absolutely agree with that. But I also think that they're looking in the wrong places for the wrong things. They're looking to the past. In other words, if they have two qualified candidates and one has more experience, then they go for the one with more experience.
Because it's safe.
It's safe. They're thinking maybe that person will bring with them, perhaps some other clients or some background. However, how many times have you come across someone who has 10 years of experience, which is really just 1 year's bad experience repeated 10 times?
Wow. That's a good way to put it.
Well, what you're looking for is not what someone has done, but their aspirations. What can they do, their potential. If someone leaves a company... Oh, no, please.
Do you think this has something to do with the interview process being, I mean, I know some companies get creative with the questions that they ask and, they make you do thinking on the spot, especially some of the tech companies. But do you think a lot of this has to do with those interview questions that are just so boring and basic? They
are very boring and they're very basic.
Where do you see yourself 5 years from now? What am I supposed to say? What do you want to hear? Most people are going to say, working in this job, possibly advancing in your organization.
Right, right. I think there's certainly better questions to ask, and they can come. At Caliper, we help companies identify questions if the job has to do with rejection, for instance. There's questions that could be crafted around that. If the job has to do with connecting with other people, there's questions we would craft around that. A great question to ask somebody about where they are right now would be to ask them, if you could change one thing about the job where you are right now, what would it be? What would you, if you could just get rid of that one thing?
Right.
There's the answer that they give
is telling.
Is very telling, and it might tell you that they're not really looking for that particular job. But instead, what hiring managers often do is they say, let me tell you these 3 things. What do you think? And someone says, that's exactly what I want to do with those 3 things. And
then they're unhappy. And we began this conversation by talking about the unhappiness, 70%, contributing to losses financially for the companies. How is that quantified? Just people leaving and then they have to train and hire new workers? How is that money? Cost?
It's enormous. The cost is enormous. It's been estimated to be $550 billion.
$550 billion?
In this country alone.
Over what time period?
Annually. Annually. In other words, what we're talking about are people who are just clocking in, as opposed to, and as...
Most workers.
Well, 2 out of 3. Chances are, if you're talking to someone who's really engaged, who loves what they're doing, there's someone to their left and to their right who is not. One of the people is probably looking for something else. The other person is probably just calling in sick.
I have to say, when you work with that positive person or that person who you can tell loves what they do,
Yes.
it makes you work harder and it's just better
It
all
does.
around.
It does. You're absolutely right. It
Yeah.
engages you. It lifts you up. It shows you other possibilities, and then that energy clicks in.
What would you say to companies that don't reward their workers?
Well, however they do reward their workers, that's what they're talking about. So we work with companies at Caliper. They're very clear about their culture. Some of them are very competitive. They're there to win, but they hire people then who are built that way, many who are athletes. Other companies create more of a family environment. Some are very, very innovative. That's what they want, those ideas sparking, and that's what distinguishes them. Some are very collaborative,
Right.
but it's being clear about the personality of the company and then bringing in people who can
Work
grow
with
with that
that
company, who
personality.
have that personality.
It seems to me that bonuses, annual pay increases based on merit, extra days off, those little things, or in some cases big things, especially if it's your salary, can make a huge difference. But what we saw from the recession is people getting more work and the same pay,
Right.
sometimes less pay.
Right, right. And that's certainly sending a very
Breeds
clear
unhappiness.
message. That breeds unhappiness. That's certainly sending the wrong message.
Yeah.
And so what you're looking for, in terms of an organization, it's really, really important. We work, for instance, with several different large companies, Avis Budget Group, to Bella Cucina, a beautiful organization that makes food that is just elegant, that is sold in
Pretty Bella Cucina, pretty kitchen.
Exactly. Now, one of the most innovative
Yeah.
things that Elisa Berry does there, the founder, is that she brings in someone, if she's looking to hire them, brings them through the process, and the hiring process incorporates Caliper's assessment, but then she offers them the position for a week, pays them,
Yep.
and then
It's a test for both people.
It's a test for both people, because will it work? Particularly in the kitchen, that's where that chemistry, that somebody can either add enormously to what's going on, or change it in a negative way.
And let's face it, the hiring process is lengthy, it's annoying, it's time-consuming, and it's costly. So if you spend more time doing it the right way, it works out in the end for everybody.
Exactly.
Good to see you, Patrick.
It's
Thank you so
wonderful.
much.
Thank you.
For more, we can head to your website, calipercorp.com, and also check out his books, plural, How to Hire and Develop Your Next Top Performer, as well as succeed on your own terms. We'll see you right on the other side of this break. Bye, everybody.